All right, welcome to Effortless Being. I got John back on the line, fresh off Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Happy to be here, Rob,
Yeah,
as
good
a
to see
renewed
you.
man,
You're a new man, huh?
literally following the Dr. Joe work. Personality is everything. And if personality is composed of thoughts, emotions, and actions, then I am literally a new being with new thoughts, new emotions, and new actions. It's cool to see the character in my game progress.
I love that how we look at it like as a character in a game, because oftentimes people before they realize, they think that they're just their thoughts or they're just their character. They don't realize that there's so much more than just this body or this character.
It's so cool, this paradox we've talked about a few times, where you're both all that is effortless being, complete, wholeness, and then simultaneously this character in a 3D reality. And through Dr. Joe, I keep seeing with more and more clarity every time I go to these retreats that from the broad effortless being perspective, you can completely create new characters that engage with the physical reality in a completely new way and get completely new experiences back.
And it's so empowering to know that because prior to self-realization, to realizing that it was a character and that I'm so much more than my body and this character. Prior to that, I was like undergoing like what they call victim consciousness, where I thought everything was happening to me, and I blamed everybody for everything, and I always said like I can't change my reality. This is who I am. There's nothing more I can do, and I would just accept things. But then when I realized my true nature, I felt empowered. Like, wait a second, I can create my own reality. And then I felt empowered. And it's such a good feeling when you go from victim consciousness to empowered.
Oh, God, yes. That is the initial split of consciousness as soon as it's focused into the time space reality, victim or creator. And every thought, emotion, and action stems from that initial split. And I've definitely recognized the state of all that is effortless being several times. It's fun to slip back into the character and forget, and then keep remembering, keep coming back to home. I love this game, and the more time I spend home in the effortless being, the more creator mode I default to as the character, and then the more fun and exciting this reality becomes.
That's so cool knowing that and be a firsthand example of someone who's experiencing that. And just so people know that are listening to us and the Effortless Being channel, I do work with people to write books of that nature. And that's kind of like what John and I are doing is we're writing a book together, The Game of Infinite Wealth and Joy, the link between effortless being and the law of attraction, which will soon be out on Amazon. Where what we do is we get together and we talk about the book, and usually what I'll do is I'll send a few questions over to John to get his perspective on things and his thoughts, and then we'll put it together and we'll put it, nice and neatly edited and have it look nice, with the thoughts very clear for the book. And so that's kind of like what we do with these calls. So that's kind of like what I do when you're working with me on these calls. If anyone's interested in that, just go ahead and email me. But I mean, it's even more than just doing the book. What would you say like about the process that we're doing?
Yeah, definite shout out to you and recognition that you always, in every interaction we've ever had, have maintained, I don't know what you call it, the seat of awareness, the state of effortless being, the state of self realization. You don't seem to slip in and out, which is really cool to have a reference point. And I like to describe myself as an average guy who's just fascinated with reality and consciousness. And once I got a taste of that state, I'm really excited to play with both, with the effortless being state and the character state, and go back and forth. And this book writing experience, which I'd highly recommend for anyone else to do with you. Initially, I think I mentioned this in a past recording we did. I felt like I'm coming to understand myself. I don't have anything to offer anyone else. And through this process of writing it, I'm recognizing I have my experience to offer, and I benefit so much. Joe Dispenza is an example. he has the same perspective. I'm just a guy who has an understanding of the truth, my best understanding, and I'm excited to share it with you. I realize that's exactly where I'm at. I'm excited to share the realizations I've had. And through this experience of book writing, I'm realizing I know more than I thought I did as the character. And the more I come to know of myself, the more I come to know of myself. It sounds like a stupid statement, but it's profound for me. There's layers upon layers upon layers, and I know now from the effortless state of being, it goes on forever. It really is the journey as the character that we're after. We can always reside in effortless being. We focused ourselves into a space-time reality for the insane joy of the journey that starts nowhere and goes nowhere, except endless joy along the path of self discovery. And this writing process is showing me how much I've discovered. It's almost like a forced, not a force, but I made this decision, right? I have thoughts, emotions, and actions that make up my personality. I'm very clearly seeing now to consciously decide to match my actions with the thoughts and emotions that I prefer to have as a character. And a lot of that entails I make the decision, yes, it's in my best interest to write this book. I want to do it. So when I promise I'm going to respond to these questions, I hold myself accountable. And that forcing of self in the best possible way, the most expansive way, is just the challenge and the momentum I need to expand myself to cause the profound insights. So thank you to you for that.
Yeah, I love that. And it doesn't even feel like I'm really doing it. It's almost like I'm holding up like a mirror to you and I'm just kind of reflecting back, right back to you. So it's almost like it's coming from within you. I'm just holding up the mirror, and effortless being that's within you is consciousness revealing consciousness to itself. So it's like it's nothing I'm really doing. The thing that I'm doing is holding the space and holding the mirror for you to see it. That's exactly what it is that I'm doing. So it's I don't want to take personal credit as Rob or anything. It's basically it's inside of you that's doing it. The only thing I'm doing is holding up the mirror and holding that space for you to do it.
You hold it so well and represent that idea of allowing love or source to come through you as you're describing it right there. Presumably, you get the joy of being the mirror, and I
Yes.
get the joy of seeing myself. It's joy and appreciation on everyone's part with no effort and complete ease.
Yeah.
The candle, one candle lighting an infinite number without detracting from itself in any way because there's infinite potential.
What a beautiful gift it is on both ends, that we can receive that. And I was looking at your biography that you had sent over to me, and it was kind of you were talking a little bit about it in your introduction. Maybe talk a little bit about your biography that you here wrote. I'll read a little bit of it for you. It says John
Sure.
is a self-described average guy with an intense curiosity for the nature of reality and the nature of self. And you put the average guy in parentheses. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see some people's characters come with such knowingness and confidence in expression of self. Joe Dispenza offers a quote, and I'm paraphrasing because it's not exact, but that self awareness is earned. And my character is loving this game of earning my self awareness through my self awareness, if that makes sense. Like so much of this stuff is paradoxical. I don't know how else to describe it.
It is paradoxical,
So,
you're right. Yeah.
yeah.
You're doing
So
a
I
great
see
job in
myself.
explaining it, though. You're very clear, so we can continue.
Thank you. Thank you. I recognize I completely chose to forget who I am, infinite consciousness, source energy,
Yeah.
for the joyful experience of remembering piece by piece by piece as the character who I am. And I use the term average guy because I conceptualize myself as having started life in complete forgetfulness of who I am. And I'm piecing it together and I'm realizing I'm not really an average guy, and neither is anyone else. We never were.
That's what the
But
paradox is. And so many people I talk to when I'm interviewing them, it seems like around the age of two, people kind of forget, what they truly are, the infinite being. Because before the age of two, everything's just appearing effortlessly. The forms are coming up, and you're just like this space of beingness, this infinite space of beingness, this impersonal space. But then there's that identity, society and our parents and just, like, the life that world that we're in says, oh, you're Rob or you're John, and you have this story, and then you take on whatever limitations that they give you. But really, you always remain as the pristine infinite being, but you're playing the character. And what's so loving to know and so empowering to know is that you can make that character really fun. You can make it how you want. You don't have to just have the default of whatever the conditioning is. And I like that you said remembering, because that's really what it is. You're just remembering back to what it is that you truly are, your true self. And once you know that, it's almost like you're awake in the game, like you're awake playing the character. And that's when it gets really fun, when you're awake playing the character.
100%. And it takes so many beautiful gifts from reality to remember, and mirroring from people such as yourself, from animals, a lot of pets that just seem to exist in a state of unconditional love. It's in that mirroring that you can finally see yourself. I'm speaking for myself, that I could finally see myself and say, oh, I see me. And then, right, I'm like, oh, I see my right arm moving. Can I move my left arm? And then you move it as the character, and all of a sudden you see the reflection back and realize, wow. Um, so the mirroring is maybe one of the greatest gifts for self discovery and self recognition to empower self change.
Love that. And then
Yeah.
you go on to say, like many people, this curiosity was born through challenge. After decades of living a standard life, you went to college, going to college, getting a job, following the usual pattern. John perceives that he gifted himself illness, and you put that in quotes, as a mean to sparkling a completely new paradigm and perspective on life. So, talk about this gift of illness.
Yeah, I was in a state of materialism, believing that the material reality was the only reality and was the complete and whole truth. And in this idea, which we've completely debunked through the book. I mean, again, all perspectives are true, but from a broader perspective, we've debunked the idea that working harder yields more. It's obvious the people who work the hardest, the greatest number of hours, give all their heart and soul to stuff, are frequently the ones who have the least return. And those who are completely effortless often have the greatest. Reality is so obvious when you step back and look at it. But I was playing a material game, just working myself to the bone, and it gifted me illness so I could slow down and look at myself. And now in hindsight, what a gift. I wouldn't have changed without that challenge. And now I'm recognizing how all challenges really have the potential for self-observation, self-reflection, and then changing the character in that. And that's where it all started for me. Joe Dispenza was my gateway, completely healed myself. As soon as he basically proves a mind body connection through scientific study of the placebo effect. And there's so much evidence out there to prove your thoughts can literally make you sick. And then he offers the suggestion, if your thoughts can make you sick, and we've proven it to you now through all these studies, is it possible your thoughts can make you well? And then goes on to prove it through all additional studies that he's conducted. And that was the core that I needed for healing. And then it's been nonstop since then in terms of change of consciousness in myself and progression through this game.
I love that. And that's why I think this book is really going to help people, because a lot of people do have that belief, and it really is holding them back from having effortless abundance, is this idea that you have to work hard to get money. But as you brought out and what you just said, we see that the hardest working people don't often have the money, but it's those that it just comes naturally and effortlessly to them, that they're the ones getting all the abundance. And so this paradigm shift is really going to help people. That's why I really love how the book really debunks some of the thinking that people have, or these beliefs that they have. They can see through it, then that abundance can naturally flow to them when they're really doing what they love. And you went on to write, you said that this new paradigm not only led John to complete healing, but it opened up a new passion, a purpose, and an understanding that he described as absolutely priceless and absolutely endless. Talk about that.
Yeah. finally getting a taste through meditation of the realization of what I am and what this is, and that I'm essentially split in two for the fun of being able to experience myself as a character with limitations. Limitations being a great thing, they're needed for some type of character level experience, and character level experience is blissful and fun and magnificent. It is the physical incarnate experience of the non-physical, all that is, that I truly am. So that knowing is priceless, right? Not to get biblical, but there's some quotes from the Bible that from new perspectives make so much sense. And to paraphrase, there's some generalized quote: seek first the kingdom of heaven and everything else will be given unto you. And when you realize that idea of heaven is a state of consciousness within yourself, and everyone has access to that state. They may not perceive they do because there's such a cloud of thoughts obscuring it, but it's absolutely there, just like the sun being behind rain clouds on any day. You might not be able to see it, but if you know it's there, the sunny day will come and you'll taste it and see it. And then you realize, oh, I'm just a character playing this fun game. And then the journey is absolutely endless. I don't want it to end. I want to play more, 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 and in more consciousness and see where it can possibly go. It's ripe with possibilities, and I want to see all that it has to offer.
I love that. I really do. And you go on to say, for the past several years, John has invested thousands of hours in studying the works of countless teachers. And you go on to include sciences, including quantum physics, the law of attraction, Dr. Joe, Abraham Hicks, Bashar, Darrell Oken, Neville Goddard, and many, many others. And you said, for John, this book is an opportunity to reflect on his own evolution and share his current model of reality and consciousness. Maybe just talk a little bit about each one of these traditions or these people that have helped you, these teachers, and how it's really evolved to your current model of reality and consciousness that you have today.
Yes. And since I'm hot on Dr. Joe, I'll throw out his concept to start with, which is that of my personal model of reality. He recognizes, and I also recognize, everyone has their own concept or model of what they are and what reality is. And for everyone, the gift is it's going to be different because it's going to be your own selection of your model. So I love the idea of sampling the best feeling teachings or perspectives, ideas, concepts, whatever you call it, knowings from different people to piece together my own personal model of what I'm deciding is my truth of what reality is. And then based on that decision, getting to experience it. And it's fascinating to see the offerings, the perspectives are pervasive throughout every category in reality. It's available through the religious perspective, it's available through the scientific perspective, it's available through the spiritual perspective. It's even, I suggest, available through the obvious perspective of you just looking at your reality. And I love the quote, let it be obvious. Just look at your reality without your thoughts, like an objective scientist, and think, what would I have to believe is true to be seeing what's actually happening in front of me? And that idea of need, the people who need the most have the least, the people who need the least have the most. Again, it's one of those statements that sounds stupid, but when you sit with it, it's deeply profound. That's obvious. That's actually what I'm seeing. People are telling me all sorts of ideas surrounding this concept, but the truth is the effortless being state is constantly being proven to me through my firsthand personal experience of what I'm observing in reality, merely by the fact that people who need the least have the most and need the most have the least. Like, the experience is showing me what it is. And if I would stop the thoughts and stop listening to all the opinions and chatter and this and that, and just look at it myself, conduct my own study, think for myself and see what's happening, reality never withholds anything from anyone. It's only the thoughts which really make the game riveting. And once you realize they're not me, and I can cultivate them, I can observe them, I can intentionally choose them and piece together my own my own model of reality. And this is where the book is really exciting for me. And I realize I don't feel like I have something to teach per se, but I get exhilarated by my personal model of reality. And I love sharing that model, which is the intersection point of effortless being and the law of attraction for me. Like that is the basis of my model. And I love sharing it because I'm happy about it. And someone else may see it and want to pull pieces from it to create their own model.
Love that. Is there something that you've seen a commonality between the ones that you mentioned here, Dr. Joe, Abraham Hicks, Bashar, Goddard? Do you see a common theme with them?
I see several common themes. The biggest and brightest and strongest for me is that reality is ultimately a mirror. From the broadest perspective, I am alone in front of a mirror, and everyone and everything else in my reality is only reflecting me back to myself. And that statement holds true for absolutely everyone else. How that actually works, because to the logical mind, that can't make sense. I have no explanation and have no idea, but that's the ultimate commonality truth between them. The second core ultimate commonality I find between all of them is that the idea of a personality or a character or an ego or a self, there's a million different names to describe it, but whatever the character in the game is, it's composed of thoughts, emotions, and actions. Core thoughts, emotions, and actions. And when you can intentionally observe, recognize, and cultivate thoughts, emotions, and actions in a direction that feels good, you're going to change your character. And then when you change your character that you're presenting to the mirror, your reality will change. But the idea of affirmations and doing all these things to change the mirror without changing yourself is insanity. It can't possibly work. Joe Dispenza is huge on that. It's impossible to create a new personal reality until you create a new personality. He's the only one who blatantly states it that way, but I've find evidence from all the others as a core supporting that idea that you got to change yourself if you want your reality to change.
That's so cool. So true. And
Yeah. Do
I
you
was,
see?
what's
Can I
that?
ask you? Because I'm so
Oh,
curious. Because I know
yes.
you've spent probably countless hours looking at teachings from different people. Do you find a core commonality between multiple teachers or between your own resonance and what Abraham or other people you look at say?
Yes, the commonality is exactly what you said. They all talk about like a character being there and that you're the space, you're the effortless being that's behind it. They all use different words, but the commonality between them all is you are the creator of your experience. You are the infinite being, and you're just having this human experience, not just having this human experience, but you're having the human experience, and you can make the human experience fun. You do have, I should say, creatorship and be able to dictate how the story goes. So there is empowerment in knowing that. So they're all teaching that. And I've seen that even in my own direct experience that I can kind of dictate to reality how I want my day to go. And everyone can, they can structure it. But a lot of it comes down to being able to see through the conditioning, and the beliefs and dropping them and seeing through them that and recognizing for yourself that you are the infinite being. So it's almost like you have to realize what you truly are. And what it really comes down to in all of them is someone knowing that for themselves. That's why I call it self-realization, realizing what you truly are, that you're not just this other character named Rob or John out there in the story, that you don't have these limitations and that you don't have to just let life dictate to you because the mind is good. The mind is what's creating everything. But usually I'll give the mind tasks like, okay, write me a PowerPoint or help me write this paragraph or make a list of groceries for me. But you're the one in charge. You're the one that creates your reality. And I think people need to recognize that all these are teaching is that you are the sovereign. Like there's nothing to be ashamed of, that you are worthy, that you are that. It's just that you've forgotten and you've been conditioned that you're not. So don't listen to that voice in your head that's telling you that you're not, or any thoughts that say that. It doesn't apply to the true you, because what you are is the pristine infinite being. You are the effortless being. It takes no effort to be, it takes no effort to manifest, to do all of this. We're manifesting anyway, and you can manifest from your infinite being, from effortless. If you're putting forth effort and things like that, what I've noticed that they're all teaching that is that you're wasting your energy. It's an energy game, is really what it is, and you're giving that energy, and it takes away from your creativity and your effortlessness. So just relax and be effortless and know your worth, know what you are, that you're the pristine infinite being, that everything comes to you, and really have that inner conviction. I would say they're all trying to teach you, like, really identify with it, that you have that inner conviction, that you feel that, and you can command the universe to fall into line with what you want. It's almost not what you want. It's like, it's almost like you're going from, like, you've learned enough and you know enough. Now you're just being it. So you're going from, like, from doing it or getting all this knowledge. There's no more knowledge to know. You are already it. You're being it. So you just be it and it just comes. And that's how it works. It's like, you, when you know what you are, the universe responds. So that's kind of like what I see going on with all of this.
So
So
beautifully said. Yes.
it just came through. I don't know. Effortless being just comes through.
It
But yeah,
does for you. It does.
yeah, chapter no, I'm nothing special. It's just effortless being coming through. But here's chapter 9 and 10. What I like, you put it. We're working on chapter 9, letting go of personal struggle and resistance. And you talked about, you had an example in here, being late to work for a meeting might result in meeting a stranger who offers a better job, or a winning lottery ticket might result in an endless barrage of uncomfortable requests from friends and family for money. I've seen a lot of people like win the lottery, and that actually happens to them. They're thinking, "Oh, I just want to win the lottery because money is going to make me happy. If I have all the money, John, I'm not going to have to ever work again. I can do, I have anything I want when I get the money." What they don't realize is you can do that right now. Like, you know, but, and then they end up getting barrage, like people saying, "Oh, all your friends and family contacting you to get money." So I really like your illustration, that you gave with that, and how we need to let go of that. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, those examples are great for me in the idea of non-attachment to specific outcomes. My thinking mind will give me thoughts. And just like you were saying before, don't believe everything you think, essentially. Sometimes the thoughts are not in alignment and the emotions are the giveaway. This thought doesn't serve me and is not in alignment. So when I think I need a specific outcome um, of some circumstance, I recognize actually I don't, because everything can potentially be a double-edged sword, right? You think you want to win the lotto, but if I haven't changed my personality, my thoughts, emotions, and actions, the personal reality is going to conform to my old state of being, and I can have $1 million, but my character is going to have the same degree of challenge. Actually, it would be amplified by the money. So I recognize I release by saying what I think I need may not be what I need. I surrender to reality and giving me exactly what I need. I trust reality. I trust the mirror 100%. I'm going to surrender to it.
Yeah.
And number two, at what point do you decide some circumstances finished, right? So you're late for a meeting, so you're like, oh no, I'm late for a meeting, and then all of a sudden you meet someone and get a new job that's even better, and you're like, oh sweet. So you could decide right there is the outcome of the ultimate circumstance and say, wow, this being late really served me. But then if you contemplate it from another angle, the circumstance is going to continue on. Then you start the job
Yeah,
and then say
it's
something
true.
else happens, right? So
Yeah.
it can go back and forth. And I realize at no point is of the string of circumstances is there an actual endpoint. It's up to me to determine when the endpoint is. And then in this idea of a journey, like we were talking about before, one circumstance is going to string to another, to another, to another. At no point is it ever really done. So all my power has to be right now and in my emotional state of being and appreciating every second of the journey. If I'm not happy now, the next circumstance isn't going to fix it. And if I think the next circumstance is fixing it, I'm basically like screwing myself out of the now. It's this paradoxical loop that would never end. So you got to surrender to the loop and loving it and seeing the benefit in it.
Yeah, that's so true. And I'm looking at your next question. You said, ever let go of something only to receive something way better. And this goes back to the Joe Dispenza example that you had when with the seats. You want to talk about that? That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, such a cool example. Being excited to get a front row seat at the seminar. I'm in the color group that has access to the front 10 rows today. I get up early thinking I'm going to get a front row seat. I'm so excited to be there. And for whatever circumstance, the doors open, everyone's running in, this, that, right? You can feel it's my own projection of scarcity, which makes my reality show people running and clamoring for these seats. But I find a seat in the third row, start walking towards it. Yeah, the seat's going to be for me. Reach the seat and look up. see another person doing the exact same thing, and in that moment realizing I have a choice, victim or creator, effortless being or character who's victimized by my own environment, and making the decision, you know what, like what would love do here, what would the effortless being do here, what would the state of joy be here? It would give away the seat and
Yeah.
take appreciation for the person who's going to enjoy this moment. Or maybe conceptualize, what if this was my mother, this is someone's mother, would I
Yeah.
want my mom to have a third row seat? Hell yeah, there's
Yeah.
no one else, and there's no reason I can't conceptualize this person because everyone is me or as my mother. So I give away the seat and say, feel the happiness in that. That's my mom, she's going to have a third row seat, I love her being in joy. And just start walking away and look up to see someone taking their sweater off a front row seat, exactly centered, like literally the
Wow.
best seat in the entire house, front row aisle centered.
See?
And I say, "Are you leaving this seat?" And they say, "Oh yeah, I got here early, but my all my friends are 5 rows back, and to be honest, I'd rather sit with my friends than sit up here alone."
Huh.
And then I say, "Well, I'm going to take the seat." And they're like, "Yeah, sure, just take it. I'm leaving." And connecting the dots, as Abraham would say, and recognizing, wow, I surrendered in joy what seemed to be a bad scenario initially presented to me in my thoughts, redefining the thought, receiving the new emotion, taking the action, and then being gifted the best seat in the house as a result of that.
Love that. See how you're rewarded just like that. So you never know, that can happen. So I'm so happy that you did that and got rewarded and you were able to experience that firsthand. That was cool.
It's really fun. And another example of that core idea of thought, emotion, and action, and lining the three up as the character to get a new experience that's unimaginable,
Yes.
unexpected surprise and delight.
I love that. That's like my intention every day. I want unexpected surprise and delight each day and just watch how the universe does that for you. It's just beautiful how it all works.
Yeah.
In fact, I was thinking about our upcoming Abraham cruise and I was telling my wife, I really like the specialty dining because we did a few of them on the last one. And it was really weird. It's like, I think I might be interested in that. And all of a sudden I get this email from Celebrity Credit Card saying, oh, because of the amount of cruises or stuff you went on, you get like $600 credit or something like that. And then when you know the package that I wanted was like exactly that for the specialty restaurants while I'm aboard the Amsterdam trip. And so I was like, look at that. Look how that just like, oh, you surprised. And my intention for the day was surprise and delight me with something. And it was just like a mirror of, oh, wouldn't that be nice? Not like I needed it or had to have it. It was just, wouldn't that be fun or nice? Like light, like I don't really need it, but be fun. Like, and it was like, boom, it just like popped in. And I didn't have to like spend any extra money or anything. It was just a reward for something. I don't know. Like the universe can give things to you without you having to always shell out your own money. It rewards you in thousands of different ways abundance can come to you, not just money, but money is a byproduct. It comes that way, but this happened to be one of those ways.
That is such a cool story and such a great example. Like money is still, you could say, at the seat of it, but actually you didn't touch money. The
No.
idea of money was inherently in the exchange of intention, appreciation, focus for the physical experience. That is a cool example.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, it just delights me in different ways. And because I remember we talked last time, sometimes like, it's boring just like having to pay like a transaction and then for something and you get the money, you pay money for something and then you get something in return. But it's kind of cool, like when you don't know where it's going to come from, which different ways it's going to come, like inheritance, like we talked about. Like you didn't work hard to get that, it just like dropped in, like this thing with the me getting the specialty restaurants. It just dropped in, like, and I can tell you, like, clients that come to me, like stuff like that, like, I hear it time and time again. Even my own business and things that I do, it just things just appear effortlessly. It's really
It's
cool.
almost like reality is just a mirror.
Yeah, exactly. Just like we're talking about. Now, chapter 10, from seeking to being, what helps you feel whole and complete now without needing more? And you talk about how thinking can be parallel to so many things in physical reality. You use the example of gasoline, a knife, a car, electricity, and you're saying when we use them with a clear intention and precise focus, they have exceptional power to bring about wonderful outcomes. However, when these things are used with without conscious awareness or focus, there can be wildly disastrous incomes. And you go on to say how thought is exactly the same. So talk a little bit about that.
I love seeing thought as a tool, as a knife, as gasoline, as a car, as all these familiar 3D objects that have beautiful applications. Without a knife, you couldn't cook. At the same time, you could chop your hand off with it. It's all with the intention and the focus that it's being used. Or gas, you can power a spaceship or a car. You could explode stuff too.
Yeah.
When it's focused and directed, it has amazing application. But when you're just willy nilly, let's throw some gas out there and light it on fire, let's just chuck a knife in the air, it's roulette at its best, and it's like the idea of disaster at its worst. We've already dispelled the idea there is really kind of is
Yeah.
no disaster, at least from the effortless being state.
Yeah.
But the idea of focusing thought as a mechanism, as a tool, with clarity and precision for what you decided. One of my favorite celebrity like YouTube clips I've ever seen is Will Smith, and
Yeah.
someone's asking him like, "How did you become like so popular? How did you do this?" And he's like, "I don't know how to say it other than you just decide." You decide. And he had so much conviction in the idea that you make the decision, and in making that decision, what I'm projecting onto is then you align your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions with that decision very precisely, um, to move towards that direction of what you've decided, and let effortless being and everything support you, not in terms of struggle, but in terms of decision. I've decided I'm going to have this partnership. I've decided I'm going to have this business. And when I can take action, it's going to be a joyful action to move in that direction. If it's not, something's wonky in those three elements. So I love recognizing that thoughts are a tool to be used and focused precisely.
That's so true. Because like even with these Abraham Hicks cruises, like some people would tell me, they'd be like, Rob, how are you going on all these cruises and doing that? I go, well, I just made the decision. I'm going to go on the cruise. It's fun. I want to do it. They're like, then they would say, well, don't you worry about like, how are you going to get off from your business, from work? How are you going to like, what about the kids? What about, this or that? Like the mind will come in and like give all these things. They say, well, I just make the decision and then everything just lines up and I trust that it'll all work out. Like, so that's the way I feel about it. I have that conviction. It's like it's as good as done for me. Like if I make the decision, and what I've seen, like all these traveling around the world, things that I'm doing, I find that when I make the decision, everything else just fills in and lines up effortlessly. Like as long as you trust it and you have no doubt, and you know your worth, you know what you are. You're the infinite being. Like you're the effort. Everything comes to you, and you really have that inner conviction. Like there's no doubt. Like there's no limitation. There's nothing you can't be, do, or have. I'm not just saying it. I'm embodying it. Like I'll make the decisions. Like to do what I love, do what I like, do what's fun, do what makes me happy. Like do what interests me, do what ever gets me fired up. Like I make the decision, I do it, and then I find everything just fills in effortlessly.
It's a beautiful example of that. You decide I'm going on the cruise, you focus the gasoline out an engine to propel a rocket. And then what about the kids? What about the job? What about time off? This, that. That's like just throwing gasoline. All those thoughts are unfocused nothingness, and your recognition, yeah, it's going to work out. You're taking all that fuel then and continually refocusing those thoughts as they arise to have it line up with that decision. Very cool example.
Yeah, and you go on to say the general thought that I need more, something more, someone more, somewhere more to be satisfied is like pouring gallons of gasoline onto unlevel ground and lighting it ablaze, or plugging a cord into a power outlet without knowing where the power cord goes. Love that. Roulette at the
Yeah,
best and zero sum game at worst. Energy follows thought. I love that.
yeah, yeah.
It's so powerful.
That's exactly it. One element I kind of key into there as well is the idea of choosing to appreciate more what's already present, rather than trying to bring more elements into a moment to appreciate. And I think I make a statement subsequent to that, that it's not about bringing a moment into appreciation. It's about bringing appreciation into the existing moment. And I don't
Yes.
know if I got that statement from somewhere or where that
Yeah, where'd you
statement
get that from? That's
came
pretty
from.
good. Yeah, that's a good one.
I I probably got it from someone and heard it somewhere. It's
Yeah.
just been resonating so much in my head. Don't try and make this moment into something you can appreciate. Stop for a minute and recognize. I love that term recognize because it's
Yes.
based in recognize.
Recognize. Yeah, you
Change
have it
your
like that.
mind.
Intentionally make a decision to recognize that I have everything I need in this moment and precisely directing thought towards all the things I already have supporting the truth. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's so much simpler and so much easier. There is so much present in every moment. I don't need more. I just need to see what's already present.
Yes.
And in that dissolution of the idea of need, because I see how much I have, there's no thoughts screaming to scramble to go do this and that to get that because I feel like I already have it.
You're already home here. It's already paradise on earth here. You just need to see and appreciate what's here, and then more of that will be revealed to you what's already here. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Then you go on to talk about what would you say to someone who still feels like they're endlessly chasing? And you talk about how all suffering is thought. You go read that again. All suffering is thought. Talk about that.
This is cool. I like that this is a theme. It's coming up. It came up before.
You know,
This is the
before now the
slam
suffering.
dunk
Yes,
alley
it's
oop.
coming up again. Yeah.
Thoughts are received. This is part of my model of reality. Just like a radio station or a TV, my emotion, my mood, my state of being is indicating what frequency I'm tuned to. And based on that frequency, thoughts literally come. Previously, my character confused the thoughts as the truth that I am, that they were truth. They were telling me my truth. In getting the taste of the effortless state of being and going back to it and observing it, I can see so clearly the epic paradigm shift of realizing my thoughts are literally being received and I can choose to change my emotional mood or state of being and then recognize or recognize I am receiving new thoughts as a result of this. So, in this core understanding in my model of reality, I recognize or recognize that all suffering literally is coming in thought form. And at first, this may seem like disrespectful to physical pain or other people in suffering. I get the experience of suffering can be very real and very tangible. I don't mean to detract from it. The example that I give best maybe is you could you could take the COVID panic when it was first happening and the idea that a shot or a vaccination would protect you from it. Receiving a shot is very painful. If you're perceiving the pain of a shot through the lens of this is not only good for me, this is literally going to save my life. Please, please give me this pain because I believe this pain is vaccinating me against a greater threat. You're literally uh, having the thought that this pain is good for me and you're welcoming it, you're excited for it, you're waiting in line for hours, maybe paying money to receive pain essentially because you know it's going to serve you better. So, what if the pain you're having from some other condition you chose to know without having a physical model to understand how? You don't have to know the how, you just have to know this pain is somehow benefiting me, and knowing if reality is a mirror, it's going to be reflected back to me. So that's my favorite example. All thought is suffering. If you can reconceptualize physical pain or any sort of emotional pain as benefiting you, it will ultimately come to do so.
That's beautiful. I mean, if you think about it, like what's wrong with right now, unless I think about it, I think about Sailor Bob. And that's been like kind of like my direct experience. Like when I look around, like there's really nothing going on here. Like there's nothing wrong. Everything is fine. It's beautiful here. It's like paradise on earth. It's heaven on earth. It's just that the thoughts will come and tell you that it's not. And but once you see through the thoughts that they're just like, Santa Claus thoughts, like it doesn't really, you just don't resonate with it. And you see the beauty in everything. And I like the way you talk about that when you, it's not that we're trying to bring, it says it's not about bringing this moment into appreciation. It's about bringing appreciation into this moment. Love that. Talk about that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's everything. No matter what's happening, shifting the focus, using the gasoline to appreciate this moment and focus instead of just scattering it all over. There's always a million things to appreciate. I love
Mm.
Abraham's quote: there is a huge conspiracy, and the biggest conspiracy is your well being. Do you realize the earth is spinning perfectly, that there's trillions of cells in your body functioning perfectly? I love the airplane example. How many parts are on a modern airplane? There's got to be a million fucking parts, little
Yeah.
gasoline tubes, little wires, little this and that. You're sustaining life at 40,000 feet. And if you're in first class, you're eating a steak off a refrigerated fork that was, imported from Europe. And you'll zero in on the fact that you're 10 minutes late or an hour
I
late due to
know.
some issue while you're eating steak imported from Italy off a refrigerated fork at 40,000 feet. I mean, look at the ratio of a 15-minute delay to 10 trillion perfect functional parts on an airplane working, right? Like, it's all the perspective
You
and
really put that in
stepping back.
perspective. Yeah, you really put that in perspective. Instead, see what is already present in the moment, in every moment, and cultivate an appreciation for it.
Yeah. Let it be simple. Let it be obvious. The power to cultivate's really there. And if I look back at the history, it's really an illusion of time. But if I look back at my character's progression, it has taken some real intentionality and some real time and some real allowance to bring and cultivate appreciation. But I see now Dr. Joe talks about this idea: you cultivate a panic attack. If you're thinking fearful, incoherent thoughts all day, entertaining them, emotionally embracing them as true, sooner or later it's going to pop in like a panic attack, in an emotional breakdown. You've programmed your mind. You've been like, things are not right, things are not right. It's going to reach a culmination point. I love how he gives that info verse. Is it possible to program a panic attack? And if you look at his brain scans, you look at his the chemical markers in the bloodstream as a result of sustaining elevated emotions, he has proof of people cultivating joy attacks where their brains will go into a state of incredible gamma synchronized coherence in every compartment of the brain that are 2, 3, 4, and even 500 standard deviations outside of normal in terms of coherence. And those are the circumstances where people describe, like interacting with source or creation itself in incredible states of euphoria and bliss. And if you consider 6 standard deviations, 6 sigma encompasses, I think it's 99.6% of the population, is 3 standard deviations on either side outside of normal. These people are 3, 4, 500 standard deviations. Mathematics, physics tells you it's impossible for that to occur. And if it could occur, it would occur for a fraction of a second as an anomaly. But he has people and measured data showing people are supporting these states of hundreds of standard deviations for 10, 20, 30. I think the longest was 40 something minutes of sustained state of being like that, which shows you can program yourself for a joy attack, for knowing source itself through cultivating appreciation one little step at a time. Every thought you change is one little victory and one step more towards programming that joy attack where the character gets to realize what it is.
Love that. And it reminds me, I've talked about in other interviews I've done. I'm not sure if we've talked about it, but when I was 18, I had Hodgkin's disease. I had cancer, and there was the one doctor, it was out on Long Island, and they both worked at Sloan Kettering, which was a well-known cancer hospital in New York City. And it was me and this other girl that was 17 years old. We both had Hodgkin's disease. We both were diagnosed with cancer. So the one doctor I had, he was really big on visualization and how your thoughts, can make you sick or they can make you well. I'll never forget this. When I was 18 years old, he would have me sit there and he would be like, "Okay, Rob, what you think about really matters." He goes, "What I want you to do is picture Pac-Man eating the cancer, and I want to picture yourself as whole as healthy. And I want to picture you around like skipping around, having fun with your friends, and you're healthy and you're everything's well and you're doing good and you're hugging your grandma and all that stuff. So he'd have me do these visualizations before I would go in and do the chemo. So I ended up doing the chemotherapy for 6 months. I've been healed ever since. I'm like 55 now. So it's like I haven't had any issues. And I really believe that going through like those processes that we were doing with the visualization, with the thoughts and really feeling it in my body, is feeling that I could actually feel myself getting healed like within that my thoughts and what I really believed. But where I meanwhile, the other girl, she had the other doctor, he wasn't into all the thoughts and the visualization, and she ended up dying and I ended up surviving. I really believe like the biggest thing that because I always see her like in the waiting room and stuff like that. But I really believe the biggest thing that helped me was that doctor. That was my first introduction to really realize the power of your beliefs and your power of your thoughts and how they can heal you. And that was my direct experience that I had. So I can speak with confidence and knowing that that's true.
That is such a beautiful example. You're bursting with powerful examples, and that is such a great one. And what a beautiful doctor to transcend the paradigm, which clearly still kind of is, and most definitely was when you were 18 years old, of the idea
Yeah.
of you change matter with matter, right? You change a physical ailment with physical medicine. It's so beautiful that he was transcending the paradigm and recognizing mind mind over matter, or perhaps the new paradigm that I'm moving towards, all of matter is composed of nothing but mind. There is no predecessor
Yeah,
for
right.
any matter other than mind. And your mind is so powerful, it's actually through this paradox of mind creating all matter that you can decide only matter creates matter. But the only reason a matter to matter model is possible is because, in truth, the mind is creating all matter. And that's a beautiful example of true inspired healthcare. What a beautiful doctor.
Yeah, I love that. And you could even see like some of his cure rates and stuff was always higher than the other doctors. And the one common denominator that I saw was what that's what it was, that visualization. He really believed that your thoughts could heal you and that what your self-belief about what you had about yourself, and then doing those visualizations, picturing yourself healthy, and not only just picturing, but really embodying it, like really feeling it. He would really take the time to get you to really feel it, be in it, like know yourself as that being a reality, like right now. Never mind what the test, the doctor's tests, and what your body is saying to you now. Like what is like he would really take you to that moment, to that reality of being healthy already. You would feel what it's like to be a healthy person, already cured.
Powerful and right on. Thought and emotion is everything.
And a lot of that too, like when I do these mirror calls, like some people will call me up that have cancer, and I could be on the call with them and be like, "Yep, I know exactly what it's like to go through chemotherapy," and I could mirror like right back to them, and I look at them and I hold them in the space of health. I see them like when they're talking to me, telling me, when they're identifying with these thoughts that I'm sick, I have cancer, I'm suffering, and all that, and I just hold them in that space, and I look at them and I go, "I see you as happy, I see you as joyful." I see you as healthy. Like I'm just looking at them as the infinite being. Like I'm just reflecting that back to them. And a lot of them will comment. You could see the relief on them. They'll say, "You see me as happy? You see me as healthy?" Because the doctors and everyone in society is telling them that, oh, you're this sick person, and they've identified with it. Now they're living that life experience. And then when they come and they're talking to me, I'm just mirroring back to them what they already know inside, is that it just remembering, waking up, almost like consciousness waking up to what it is, that you're not this separate broken person that's sick, that there's so much more to you than just this body. See yourself as to what you truly are. And the natural side effect of knowing your true nature and self-realization is that you see yourself as whole and complete, and it has benefits throughout all the bodies, through the emotions, through the physical body. All of those things can now be brought into alignment when you realize what your true nature is.
You are the gift for yourself and the gift for them simultaneously. I love that, and I see it, and I had the same experience too. And a shout out to Dr. Elias. What an inspired doctor. It's
Uh-huh.
funny how memories come. Your story triggered the memory of my illness. I through a family friend, I might have mentioned this on a past recording, I'm not
I think
sure,
you,
but I met this beautiful doctor, and I'd love to mention it again, where
yeah.
he looked at me and said, "You are not sick." And yeah,
Uh-huh.
right. I remember mentioning this before, and I was like, "What? Did you not get my results? I got your results. You are not sick." And I I couldn't understand at the time. And now it's exactly what you said. And anyone has the power to offer a new perspective, an alternative potential that is very real and and can definitely be experienced if it's chosen by that individual. And that is the gift for self and for other, right? If everyone is one and one is everyone, the gift would have to be both received by you and given simultaneously for it to be an actual gift. If it doesn't benefit you as well as them, it can't really be a gift.
Right. And just a disclaimer for those listening, we're not a substitute for doctors or anything like that. Listen to your doctor to
No,
take everything in perspective. Because even when I had the chemotherapy, I still did the chemotherapy, but this was like in addition to that. And I really believe that that's what, helped me, recover so quick and actually get cured. Whereas, someone else that was there she wasn't able to make it. And I really feel in my direct experience that was the difference, you know, um, in my life. So I could speak from my own direct experience.
beautiful. Yeah. Words don't teach, experience teaches. Abraham Hicks.
Yes, that's another true one. Yeah, speaking of Abraham Hicks, I'm looking forward to the cruise out in Amsterdam, getting excited about that. I mean, it's gonna be here before you know it.
Absolutely. Time is an illusion, a fun illusion.
I wanted to let you know, I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to my channel lately, but I've been doing some interviews. Rami was just on there. She's actually from Amsterdam, and she's going to meet me down at the hotel that I'm at, and we were going to do, talk and maybe do like a live broadcast over, not a live or whatever, a recording, out there for the YouTube channel, and then Judy is also going to be out there, who's also been on my channel, and she's coming there with her husband, and we're all going to meet at the hotel we're at. But I don't know if you're interested in coming down and chatting with us, but you're more than welcome. Give you an invitation to do that. You let me know if you're interested. But we'll be down.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, so I can send it over to you if you're interested. So just let me know.
Absolutely. How cool. Live on site.
Yeah, and it'd be cool being with some other people. A lot of times we talk to them on Zoom, but like it'd be cool to get us all together. So see what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be
That
pretty
sounds
neat.
beautiful.
Yeah. So that'd be a good time. Looking forward to that in Amsterdam. Yeah, and then just seeing all those different countries out there. I haven't been to a lot of any of those countries really out in Europe. I don't know about you, but some of them look pretty neat, like Estonia,
Yeah.
Finland, Denmark, Sweden, Berlin, Germany. Like that's some of the places we're going to be at.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I haven't been either.
Yeah. Well, any new experiences that we're going to, and then of course the Abraham Hicks will be cool too to see that and see all of our friends, out on the ship. And who knows what adventures we're going to come into. Last time it was cool. Like, there was a couple of people that realized the true nature on the ship that just came about effortlessly. That was kind of neat to experience that and have those kind of experiences as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's in store, you know, for the cruise and the experiences that we're gonna have. And by then,
Me
the
too.
book should be done by then. So that'd be kind of cool too. We could talk about the book and
Yeah.
as well. And yeah, and I think the other thing I was going to talk to you about is maybe for this video, what I could do is attach something on the video for those that would be interested, to join our email list to let them know, when the book's going to come out. Maybe I could put something on there, and then when the book comes out, I could just send out a email blast, for those that are interested to be the first to know, and maybe we give them a little something, you know. So, well, I'll
Sounds
put,
great.
if that sounds good to you. I'll put something together like that for this video. And then when it comes out, we just send out the email blast and, maybe send them a little something. And, it'll be cool.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's all coming together. So I'll take this information you got. And then we'll move on to the next chapters. I'll send you over just a few questions like this. And this way we can incorporate all of this into the book as we're coming toward the end of the book now. I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah, it's
Me
coming together
too.
beautifully. I'm just enjoying leaving the whole journey of it. It's like I don't want to rush it. I don't want it to be over. I'm just loving the whole journey of it, the evolution of it. But we'll see where it goes, We'll see what happens, what the field, what consciousness has in store. We've put the invitation out into the field and we'll see what kind of response we get from consciousness. And it's not like we're attached to anything. It's just been fun doing it. And I just feel like many would benefit from it. And I put it out into the field and into the universe, into consciousness, and whatever wants to come back comes back. If it resonates, it does. If it doesn't, no big deal. All is well. We're already living in paradise on earth right now, and I just want everybody to have this same feeling of joy and of wholeness and completeness. And maybe that's the character wanting that. I don't know, but everybody's okay, even where they're at. There really is nothing serious going on. It's no big deal. It's just we're just having fun with this. And if someone can benefit, if it resonates, they'll know. It will speak to them. Their intuition will bring them, just like it did for you and I. Our intuition brought us to where we are right now, and continue to lead us, as we navigate the character in this in this life. But it's been
Oh,
fun. It's been
yes.
really fun and enjoyable. We're having a good time with it. And it's nice coming from that place of, when you're feeling empowered and you feel whole and complete and you feel abundant already. And it's just spilling out, into the 3D and just the cool experiences that you can have and the fun and the joy. Life really is meant to be fun, and it can be fun, and it is fun. And I just encourage everyone to choose that, follow whatever excites you, whatever fun there is, whatever joy there is, follow that, go for that, like lean towards that, lean into it, and trust. I would say trust. Don't believe all the thoughts of the mind telling you that you're limited, that you can't have this or do that. And as we talk today, the power of making a decision. Make the decision and trust that everything else will line up. As long as your decision's in alignment with joy and expansiveness and lightness and effortlessness, it shouldn't feel like a struggle or hard. If it is, then just back off and let it go. It's, your intuition it leads you when you're feeling expansive in your body, not when you're feeling constricted. It's when it's effortless, it's easy, it feels like the next logical step, it feels exciting, it's kind of like that. So I just encourage people just to follow that in their lives. And I think that they'll see the 3D world just be like magical and surprises at every turn and things you can't even imagine, that your limited, mind can't even imagine, because the universe loves us. It wants us to be delighted and have all these cool, fun experiences. We're, like you said, we still have our human bodies here. We're still having the human experience. So now that we're awake to what we are as the infinite being, why not use it, have some fun.
It always feels good when you talk, Rob. I'll listen all day, buddy.
It's a
Oh,
good time. It just comes through. It's just natural because that's how I feel inside my heart. And it just flows through. The effortless being flows through. And it's just a mirror to what you already know. I'm just awakening it in you, and you're seeing it. This is really you drawing it out of me, or if you want to say of me, there's really no separation. I'm just a mirror for this. And it's just comes about. You've called it through. It's your fault.
damn, doubling down on the good
Feels
feeling.
great.
Thank you.
We're all
It
mirrors,
does.
we're all mirrors. Yeah. All right, I guess we can
Yes.
end there. What do you say?
Yes.
All right, I'll
This has
send you over
been
the next
great.
part. We'll keep it moving.
Perfect.
Thank you again for your time. It's been awesome.
Thanks, Rob. Likewise.
Much joy.